Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today what we're doing is rebuilding this brake master cylinder, which is a rear brake master cylinder for a 2003, 2006 or 9 SV650. They're all very similar though, so yeah, this one is nasty, so let's get into it. So this is the rear brake master cylinder. It's usually attached to this right here, through these bolt holes right here. Unfortunately I did have to take this whole thing off the bike to drill them out, as someone had, I think, used an impact on an Allen key in a past life and basically made those circles instead of Allens. So what I've already done is just popped this open in order to start cleaning it so that we could actually make this video, because this was leaking, so it is absolutely nasty and all that brown gunk is all brake fluid. So there is a snap ring in there that you might not be able to see, but we'll show getting to it in a moment. You could theoretically take this whole thing off, but I don't think we're going to need to. Just keep it as one piece. And then there is a simple little screw holding this guy in, and oh, it's jammed up again. How I got this out is, I think it was this. So I put that in there, nice good contact patch, and I just got a flathead in and kind of worked it out nice and slow, because you don't want to force it out or you'll damage things. I'm not even sure that we need to take it out, but just for cleaning purposes I wanted to take it out, which it is dirty. So now that's out, and there is an O-ring here, so I hope that we have that O-ring as a replacement piece, and that's the old banjo bolt, which obviously will also pop out. Old piece of something there. So yeah, that is the quick disassembly method. What we're also going to do is just pop this O-ring out, put it somewhere safe in case we didn't get a new one, and this will basically just mean that we can actually start cleaning. What I'm going to do now is try to get that snap ring out, which might be a challenge. So these are internal snap rings, I think. What we'll try to do is actually find where the snap ring ends are, clean it off well enough. That looks like one. Yeah, this thing is a mess. Probably will not be able to show you much of this, but when I get it apart I'll show. I'm actually going to turn off the camera because this is going to be difficult. Okay, a little update. This is so much worse than I thought. What I've actually done is just put in a WD-40 bat into the snap ring, because the snap ring is literally not moving at all. It is welded in place. So it may end up that we need to replace this whole rear brake master cylinder. Not the end of the world if we do. I was trying to do it on the cheaper method, we'll say. But what I'm going to do is let that soak there for a while, and we will come back to this particular piece. Well, for you it's going to be in 2 minutes, but this video might just be, this is not fixable, I'm going to buy a new brake master cylinder. So I have other little jobs to get on doing on this bike, so that's what I'm going to do. You can see into the master cylinder. What I was doing was soaking the actual brake piston itself, the thing that actuates your brake fluid to move it up and down, because it was completely jammed in there. There was no movement. I did get the actual pin out, so the pin is what kind of works off your rear brake lever, and I did get out the snap ring, which looked not so good. That was pretty much welded in place too, so good thing we got a new one. And yeah, I just had to leave that soak for a while. Then after a while it did start to move a little bit, but the only way to get out was I had to drill a hole into it. Eventually my drill bit caught in it, and I was able to pull it up enough that basically I was able to get a screwdriver in, work it out enough to get a pliers in, and then pull it out. And you can see it's in really poor condition here, like really corroded and just not the right shape at all. If you actually compare it to the new one, you can see basically the rubber seal, or the rubber wiper seal, whatever you want to refer to it as, the O-ring, gasket, whatever. It's a different shape because the old one is completely just gone. And you do want that, if you look at it, I'll pause it here real quick, but if you look at it there, the kind of mushroom needs to be facing down towards your twisty twirly pieces on your piston, as that is what actually captures the oil and essentially inflates to stop the oil or your fluid leaking out. So that all looks much better on the new one. Now I just pop off the seal to kind of show you, how I got it on. I fitted it on there with with the actual snap ring pliers because it's easier to kind of stretch it around there. And then to put it all back together, you grab your spring. You want to fit your little black rubber piece to the top of, bit of red rubber grease on there, and then the piston sits down with that cupped section facing up on top of the spring. So again, that kind of rubber seat on the spring does fit into the bore facing up. You want that rubber seat to hit the bottom of the piston, and again the cupped section of the piston facing up, because that pin is gonna sit in onto it that I'm showing you there now. And then the next section that we have to do is just put it all back together. So the microphone does work again after this piece, thankfully. But yeah, that older one was really genuinely nasty. Okay, so now my microphone's actually turned on. So we've cleaned this as best as I can, really. It's kind of old and corroded, but this stuff is not coming off. So unless I had like some form of belt sander, and I don't want to go too hard at it to remove too much material. So anyway, this is going to sit in on top of there. But before we do that, what we want to do is get this boot on, because we have to put back on the accoutrements that live up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this with grease. No, not pack it. I'm just going to lube her up really good and kind of get some excess in there. But not too much, because we're going to have to put on our... Actually, yeah, I'll put on the snap ring first. That makes more sense, doesn't it? I think it does. I mean, if it doesn't, you're going to find out pretty quick, because I'm going to tell you, hey, I was stupid and this doesn't make sense. Okay, we got it done. Important to note, I did have my safety glasses on while I was putting in that snap ring, because snap rings are terrifying. So next what we're going to do is, with my bare hands, because I'm not putting back on gloves at this point, I'm nearly done my work for the day, I'm going to basically pack some red rubber grease in around here. Because what it'll do is it'll just keep everything nicely lubricated. Like, we're way away from the seals and stuff here. And it'll just keep everything moving nicely, because the boot is going to protect this. We will have to clean some of this out now. It's going to go everywhere, but that's okay. Like, as you can see, look, that can just actuate up and down nicely now in a kind of a pool of grease. We're going to push this down, and then gently you want to work this. Can you see this actually? Maybe no, just move you slightly. So we're going to just gently kind of work this edge in around. This actually also needs to go under this into the groove. Whoopsie, that sounded distasteful. All right, and I think we actually got it. I think it's in the groove now. Underneath, it looks like it. I might have overfilled this slightly with grease. And you don't need to put grease in here, by the way. It's not actually part of it. I did to overfill it just a little bit. That's all right. You can easily remove grease. All right, that seems quite a bit happier now. And that's the boot on. So now what we want to do is get this lock nut on here, and then we're going to turn this one on. And what I did before I took this off is I counted my threads. I had about 2 showing, so that's about where we were. But I'm not going to tighten any of this up like fully until it's back on the bike, just so I can adjust it easily if and when we need to. But that's basically just popping that on there. And then what we're going to do is redo this guy here. So if you'll remember, earlier I said we're going to save this O-ring because I'm not sure if we got one, and we did not get one. Because you probably don't need to take that off, but I wanted to take it off to clean everything properly. So I'm going to, again, just a little bit of red rubber grease there. The last time I did brakes, I was mocked relentlessly for quite a while after, because I said red rubber grease so much. So have fun with that, I suppose. It's probably going to be the same again. But it is very important to lubricate all these things, because you know, if this had been taken apart more often and cleaned more often, all of these issues and problems could have been like really easily avoided. So what I'm doing now is, before I put this back on, I'm just kind of making sure that it is 100% clean, which it is. And then it's as easy as just pushing this back on, and that sounded a lot nicer. So earlier when I was taking that on and off, you know, you could hear it popping and whatnot. And that's just because it was struggling to kind of make it past its retention point, because the O-ring was dry, whereas now it's not. And there we go. That is one rescued, put back together master cylinder, and I am unreasonably happy with that, because when we started this today, this thing was completely frozen solid and it was not working at all, and now we have a completely working, functioning rear brake master cylinder, and that cost me just the rebuild kit and some time. So very, very pleased with that. So that is another SV650 job done. Like I said, a lot of this stuff was just kind of old maintenance items that hadn't been addressed in quite a long time. In this case, it was obviously just kind of let go a little bit too far, but actually rebuilt, and it should work fine. So just to check the pressure, so you can block off the holes and see, do you actually feel anything? But it feels great. So I mean, it should now hopefully work fine. So if not, I mean, I haven't lost too much. I can obviously take all these parts back out of this one if the bore is damaged or whatever else, but the bore that the piston travels in, so obviously this seal is critical, that it has a good seal to seal against. But where it was kind of welded in did seem to be more so around, I don't know how easy you can see this, but more so around this top piece here, because it was super corroded. You can actually see where there's a chip gone out of it and everything. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I think it should work fine. Now obviously we can't test it until we get it back on the bike. So I might do that soon actually. I might even just throw everything back on in one brake video and bleed it just to see does it work. When you're working with snap rings, do put these on. It would really suck, like when that snap ring went on a holiday earlier, I can't believe I found it as well, but when I went on a holiday earlier, if that had hit me in the eye, that could be my eye gone. So do be careful when working with snap rings. When, I don't know, does anyone else work in like industry with, you know, larger machines like myself, but when you're removing like a really, really big snap ring, it's kind of terrifying sometimes. So you do want to be careful of that, because really big snap rings will like just cut your finger off if you do something wrong with them. But yeah, so hopefully this video was educational. I would highly recommend, if you're watching this and you haven't done this before, you do not need a rebuild kit unless it's actually leaking and broken like this one. All you actually need is to, you know, whip it apart, clean everything, and you can just put it back together. I would obviously recommend buying the rebuild kit, because once you go that far, it's as easy to put it back together with new parts. Probably easier to put it back together with new parts, so I would obviously recommend that. I'll put the kit number on the screen, because I think it's probably already BC277M, that's what it is from Brake Crafters. But if you go onto Brake Crafters and just look up the make and model of your bike, they have their website really well structured. Like I said, I've used them for the Valkyrie for this, and for I think I rebuilt the brakes on the CB before. I can't remember. It was one of them anyways. It was a bike. Could have even been at home in Ireland. But yeah, highly recommend them. Really good parts, and they all work. So yeah. And yeah, so yeah, let me know in the comments, did you find this helpful? Are you going to do this yourself? Like I said, just whip them apart, clean them, and you'll avoid a lot of the hassle I had to go through today. It's much easier to clean it in advance before you need to rebuild it. If you've watched, thank you very much for watching. Do leave a thumbs up on the video if you liked it. I do appreciate it a lot, and so does YouTube, mainly YouTube. YouTube really appreciates it when people like it. If you want to see more like this, or like me riding my bikes, or me on the track, subscribe and hit the old notification bell, because YouTube also likes that. And I do like when people watch my videos, it's nice. And leave comments, so leave a comment. You know, let me know what you thought of this. And yeah, the SV is moving along. Just waiting on replacement stanchion, and then I need to obviously change the oil. We got a Canon air filter, I put that in. I can show you that at some point. And yeah, we're getting there. Not much left to do before it can actually be given a little test run down the road. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let me know, are you excited in the comments? All right. As always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. They haven't helped fund this build because I have spent all my patron money over the last few months on like Chewie foot pegs and stuff for the Z900RS. But you've all helped pay for it as well as the patrons, because a lot of the parts I bought for the SV650 I actually bought directly with the money I earned from YouTube ads, because I've been saving it all up for like a year. And that allowed me to buy like all these rebuild kits and whatnot. So thank you for everyone, genuinely everyone who's watched and stuff over the years. That literally couldn't have happened without you. So, because I put it all in a separate account to my normal money, and it's purely used for the channel. Every single penny I earn for this channel goes back into the channel. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Adios. Outro crew, have you ever seen a brake master cylinder as nasty as this one was? And look, now it's back. I'm actually very, very happy that this came back to life, because it could have been worse. It could have been worse, and I would have had to find new, which isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it's always nice when you rescue a part that didn't need to be in the condition it was in. And now we have a nice, lovely rear brake master cylinder. Yeah, look at it. Yeah. Have you ever found a part as bad as that, Outro crew, that you also recovered? Let me know. Bye, Outro crew.